We often talk about mental health only when something goes wrong, when there is a breakdown or when there is a crisis. What if when people start taking it as a everyday practice?
Our mental health has to be given the same level of importance as we give it to our physical health. As we do all our normal activities, eating, exercising, or anything, which is a part of our normal day, certain things we have to do every day for our mental health as well. So, if we don't do that, then we are actually collecting the stress in the entire day, in the entire week, in the entire month, and we've not taken care of that.
What would change in our lives if we start treating mental health as our daily habit or a daily practice rather than something as a crisis response?
Crisis happens if we have not taken care of something for a long time. Any physical health symptom also comes in if we are ignoring our physical health for a long time, right? So first of all, crisis just doesn't come immediately. If we want to avoid crisis, we have to take these small measures every day to keep the balance going. Sleeping well is also a way of creating the balance, right? Sleeping well also helps in mental health and emotional health. Doing a bit of meditation could be in the morning or before sleeping. Every day something has to be done to not have that piling up happening inside of us of emotion, of stress, of anxiety, to be able to really deal with it better.
Hello and welcome to One Health Conversations, a podcast series powered by Pacific One Health, where we deepen our understanding of health, wellness, and the human experience. I'm Vigya Roy, and today we are exploring a powerful and deeply human topic: the invisible battle, owning our emotional reality. Mental health shapes how we think, feel, and relate every single day. Yet many of us only talk about it when we hit crisis points. What would shift if we treated mental health as a daily practice? How do our cultural norms and environments influence our emotional lives? And how might redesigning care environments like micro hospitals make emotional support more accessible and inviting? To help us unpack all of this is someone with deep expertise in emotional intelligence, processing, and human transformation. I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. Aastha Dewan to the show, a highly experienced psychotherapist, counselor, emotional intelligence coach, and transformation expert who helps individuals enhance happiness, confidence, and life satisfaction through counseling, emotional awareness, and strength building. With more than 2 decades of practice, Dr. Dewan works at the intersection of counseling, mental health development, and personal growth, supporting people in understanding themselves and others more deeply. Welcome, Dr. Aastha. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, the very first segment of our conversation would be the psychology of everyday life or everyday mental health living.
Sure.
So, we often talk about mental health only when something goes wrong, right? When there is a breakdown or when there is a crisis. What if when people start taking it as a everyday practice, or start accepting it as a physical health or treating it as a physical health, something we nurture every day?
Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very important. In fact, how I look at it is that first of all, our mental health has to be given the same level of importance as we give it to our physical health.
Yeah.
That's the first, right? The second thing I would say that as we do all our normal activities, eating, exercising, or anything, which is a part of our normal day, certain things we have to do every day for our mental health as well. So if we don't do that, then we are actually collecting the stress in the entire day, in the entire week, in the entire month, and we've not taken care of that. So it's very important that there is small activities that can be incorporated in our everyday routine to actually balance the mental health as well.
So when you mention about those activities, can you throw some light on that? Can you highlight some of the practices which one can practice in daily life to manage stress or take care of their mental health?
Absolutely. Like whenever we are a bit overwhelmed, right, and there is too much that is happening and we are feeling very overwhelmed and confused or stressed, just sitting down and just deep breathing, yeah, just going somewhere, maybe in our office or at home, somewhere where there is some plants or close to nature, and just deep breathing over there, right? It just changes our mind within minutes, yeah. Then even a small walk. Now right now I feel that we still do that, but we do that with a cup of coffee or smoke. But doing that with just a few minutes of deep breathing, just taking and that doesn't have to be really outside. So today if we're living in a city like Delhi NCR, even going outdoors can be harmful. But just sitting down on your desk and just leaving everything and doing a bit of deep breathing. Another thing that we can do is writing in the night that what went well, a small journal writing, yeah, that what happened great today, what went well, what am I very happy about today, what have I accomplished today. It just stresses us because it tells us that today was a good day.
Yeah. Also, it helps us analyze our thoughts and categorize and keep it in small boxes.
Right.
I've learned it from you only.
Yeah.
So we have to give time to our thoughts.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
as you said that we can do that during before sleeping, during night. Also, Dr. Aastha, what would change in our lives if we start treating mental health as our daily habit or a daily practice rather than something as a crisis response?
Right. So, Vigya, crisis happens if we have not taken care of something for a long time. Right? Crisis in mental health doesn't come if we are not ignoring it for a long time, or if we are not piling on the stress for a long time. Yeah. Any physical health symptom also comes in if we are ignoring our physical health for a long time, right? So first of all, crisis just doesn't come immediately. All of a sudden, absolutely. So if we want to avoid crisis, we have to take these small measures every day to keep the balance going, right? The word here is balance. For example, I just gave you some examples of creating that balance every day. Sleeping well is also a way of creating the balance, right? Sleeping well also helps in mental health and emotional health. Yeah. Doing a bit of meditation could be in the morning or before sleeping. Lots of times we don't have time in the morning, but there are a lot of sleep meditations that are available today to sleep well, to sleep early, right? And sleep deeper, so to say, so that when we get up every day morning, we are fresh, we have de-stressed in the night, and we are fresh. Yeah. So I think if we want to avoid crisis, every day something has to be done to not have that piling up happening inside of us of emotion, of stress, of anxiety, to be able to really deal with it better.
So what you're saying is that we address it at once.
Yes.
When we experience the haywire of our emotions, the very first moment we experience, we should address it right away, right? And not pile up.
Absolutely.
And not sit on it and think over it, so that it changes into crisis.
Absolutely.
Right? So moving on to my next question, you often say that emotions are messengers, right? Yet many of us silence these emotions to appear to be strong and not weak. What do we lose when we suppress our emotions and not talk about it or not share it to anyone?
See, whenever we are not going to find solution of a problem, it's going to complicate the problem further. The same thing happens to emotions as well. If we are keeping the emotions inside, we are not finding the solution of it. We are only trying to struggle and trying to deal with it ourselves. But there are some emotions and some challenges which require help from somebody. So sometimes if there is something that is overwhelming or something that is bothering, talking to somebody, right? I am not even right now saying going for a professional help, but each one of us should have a friend, a person, could be our parents as well, who we are able to talk without judgment. Yeah, so each one of us have somebody to open up with. These days even that we don't have, because we're very scared of being judged. Yeah, we are scared that we would be seen emotionally vulnerable, we would be seen weak. So we're not talking about talking about your vulnerability to everybody, but there has to be that one someone who you can talk, and that helps always. Yeah, so start with that is what I would recommend.
That'll be a big step.
Yes.
So, in your experience, do society's ideas of being normal is often related to, or sometimes force people to suppress their real struggles and hide their real struggles because they need to appear to be very strong and successful? But sometimes there is a whirlwind going inside our mind. What does that look like in real life to you, according to your experience?
Yeah. So I think that is something very, very normal, that we want to just come across normal, right? Because that is how the society has been talking about, that we should always show our happy side, our successful side, our positive side. But we need to also understand that that's not the real side. Yeah, if we are living in this world, if we are living a life, there would be so many challenges. For example, sometimes the challenge could be from professional life, sometimes personal life. We are juggling a lot of things, right? So how can it be that everything is fine and normal? Yeah, and as a society we have to change this narrative. Yeah, and I see that a lot of changes coming in now. We are not, it's not exactly like it used to be earlier, where talking about emotional health or mental health was a taboo, right? That's not
people
the
are talking about it.
Absolutely.
That's a big change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So seeking help is becoming normal, but I think still more work has to be done around it. In fact, I see that the younger generation, the next generation, is more open to seek help, and they are they don't want to be normal, which is also okay. Yeah, but it's actually the generation which is the previous generation, where we were not open to talk about these things. That is where the change has to come in still, I feel, Vigya. Yeah.
Now we move to our next segment, which is the silent battles of modern society, as we say. So we live in a world that values productivity, that values constant hustle and outcome. But what is it doing to us internally? How is it affecting us internally?
See, first of all, I consider, and this is a norm, that a good stress, right? A certain amount of stress is good, actually. Yeah. So being ambitious, being productivity driven, and also hustling a bit is absolutely fine, because that is what keeps the energy up, right? But the problem comes in when things go in extreme, right? And when it just becomes too much, right? We start taking too much on our plate. There is always hustle. See, it's like just imagine that there is a rubber band, right? It's being stretched. Now it has to come back to its normal as well. If it's always stretched, right, then obviously there is going to be some challenge that is going to come. Absolutely. So this exactly is like our brain nerves, right? That if they're always stretched, they're always overactive, yeah, and productivity driven, then it causes a lot of stress. Yeah, and that is what we need to work on. Again, I would bring back the word balance, that yes, we should be productivity driven, but we need to give ourselves downtime as well, to get recharged and then come back
and function properly. I think that will help us function properly as well.
Absolutely.
Also, we have seen that many people have internalized productivity as their own identity, right? And how is this rush culture affecting the whole human environment, according to your experience, psychologically and emotionally?
So, first of all, I think this rush culture is forgetting one thing, that we are at the end of the day human beings, right? And we require downtime. Yeah, we require balance in life. Yeah, so we forget that if there is stretching and overproductivity, then we would need much higher downtime. For example, I also witness this with my clients, that the whole week they're working till 1 o'clock, they're sleeping very less, they're sleeping at 2:33 in the morning, and then they're like that we are going to sleep over the weekend, right? We will just take rest over the weekend. My question or the thought to really, think about, really the food for thought is that, do we do that with other things like food, for example? Are we only eating on weekends and not eating during the week, because we will let's keep working and not
forget
eat
about
and
food
forget.
and
Yeah,
all.
yeah, we don't do that, right?
Yeah.
So if we don't do that with other things, then why we do that with downtime, with sleep, with relaxation? Yeah, because that's not how the body functions. Body is, it's if it's 24 hours, these 24 hours have to be divided into parts. So there has to be at least 8 hours to be kept for relaxation, including your sleep, downtime. It takes time to fall asleep as well. So that is how, that is mandatory. Otherwise, the mental health issues will be rising up only. Yeah, because if just a simple phenomenon, let's say if our mind is not rested, mind is the most complex organ of the body. If it is not rested, you're actually, even if we are not using our physical body the entire day, we are still using mind for our productivity. So if that is not rested, if that is not ready for the next day and not charged up, energized the next day, then how would the productivity come? We might be working longer hours, but they are not productive as much as they can be, because the mind is not productive enough. Yeah.
We all know, Dr. Astha, that sleep plays a very vital role, as you also said, in our productivity or normal day to day function. But, if it'll be really helpful for our audiences also, that if you can share a few practices to help one fall asleep, or anything which might help to calm our nerves down. If you
Yeah.
can share something with us.
See, firstly, what I will say is, you will be, everybody's gonna say, oh, that's not possible, is sleeping and hitting bed at 10, right? Because that's absolutely the right time from the body perspective, from the mind perspective, because we've had, let's say, everything on the right time. The dinner is at 8, you've given body time to adjust and to digest, and at 10 you hit the bed, right? But still, if there are some of us who feel that 10 is too early, I would still recommend hitting the bed by 11:30, before the clock hits 12. It's, let's not take it to the next day. Yeah, for sure, that is one, because that is when it would help. Also, just 15-20 minutes before we hit the bed, it's like shutting down mentally, like not giving our mind, we call it cognitive charge, cognitive loading. So if we are still watching something on the television or on the phone, yeah, phone is, watching something on the phone is actually more dangerous than.
It's become like an extended organ these days.
Absolutely,
Then,
absolutely. We're just not able to let go of our phones.
latch off ourselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But then that cognitive loading has to go away before we hit the bed. 15-20 minutes before that, just winding up, winding down, and that I'm getting ready to hit the bed. In fact, I call it, when I work with my clients, I call it putting your own self to sleep. Yeah, which is what is not happening these
And
days.
how does that work?
So if you remember, during our childhood, our parents would put us to sleep. Yeah, they would switch off the light, they would just silence the whole room or whatever, right? And they also help us focusing on sleep, right? With maybe a song which is slowing down. Yeah, because it slows down the mind. It just tunes the mind with that slow song, right?
How a mother does to a baby, right?
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Now, how can we do that? Yeah. So putting ourselves down to sleep is that you switch off or dim your room lights. You're not using the phone 15-20 minutes before you are putting yourself to sleep. There are some sleep meditation musics that are available, right? Just playing that on your phone, or these days we have music systems in our room and everything. Just playing that, which is helping our mind rhythm with that slower pace, right? These are very specifically made for inducing sleep only. Yeah. And then just letting that play, that's okay, because it just keeps the mind tunes to it, and then you fall asleep with the help of that.
The mind is running in a rhythm, and then eventually falls into sleep.
Absolutely. So this is a process of putting yourself to sleep, which is what is not happening. And then how we are actually putting ourselves to sleep is by
watching.
Yes, by letting the eyes be so tired, right? Be so tired, then that one moment comes that your eyes are saying you can't watch anything anymore, and then we put our phone down and we sleep. So this is not this actually hinders us to go in deep sleep as well.
I would want to also talk about those people, and somebody has shared this with me. So you talked about people who have the lack of sleep, right? And they wake up and they are not feeling very productive and not fresh because they couldn't sleep, right?
Absolutely.
What about people who have slept for good 6 to 7 hours or so, and they are still, when they wake up, they don't feel fresh, they feel exhausted? What has gone wrong in their mind?
Right. So they've not hit the deep sleep, they've not completed the REM cycles and hit the deep sleep level. Because so it's not only the number of hours of sleep that is what we feel that no, it's how you are sleeping as well. Are you relaxed when you're sleeping, or you've loaded your mind too much and then you are sleeping, right? That's one. Are you stressed when you're sleeping? So this music and this relaxation also de-stresses the mind when we are going to sleep. So those factors are also very, very important. Did you sleep on a very heavy stomach? You just ate and slept.
And go off, went off to sleep.
So yes, these are also things that will impact the sleep quality. So it's not. So if that is not happened, then if your sleep is for longer hours as well, but it is not going to still help, and it was not going to still give you the complete relaxation that is needed for our mind.
So there are other factors and elements other than the hours of sleep,
Absolutely.
which helps our mind to rest and function properly.
Absolutely. Quality. So basically, this is also both quantity and quality is
we
needed.
need to balance again. The balance, balance between the quality and quantity. So we talk about personality development, or we were discussing before we head for this podcast that stress gets woven into our personalities over time, right?
Absolutely.
And especially the unresolved stress, somehow affects our personalities, and in future affects our relationships, our whole persona, and the way we perceive life.
Absolutely.
And the overall life performance as well. So what do you think about that? Does unresolved stress also plays a very contributing role in developing a personality?
Absolutely. Actually, see, we have people have different personality styles. Some of us, if there is unresolved stress, first of all, stress is being caused because of some issue that is bothering us, right? It could be a relationship challenge, it could be a professional challenge, right? It could be a challenge or a issue about our own self as well. Let's say I don't see myself being very confident or beautiful or anything. It could be a self challenge as well, right? That how I look at my own life or my own
self-worth.
Absolutely. So it's, first of all, stress is caused by a issue that you're not able to resolve emotionally, and that is what is causing stress. That is one. Now if we do not resolve this stress and we are not taking help, or we are not finding a solution to it, it will keep on piling up, right? It will keep on increasing day by day. Now I see two type of problems that starts happening. In fact, three types of problems. One is that slowly people start going into depression because of that, because the stress is so high, or it has now become to that level that they don't feel like speaking to anybody. The work is getting affected. They're not wanting to get up in the morning, right? They're not feeling energetic to be productive or do something, right?
So they go into a shell.
Absolutely, yeah. Going into the shell is one side. The second I see is anxiety, over anxious, very reactive. Now that's also impacting relationships, right? So very reactive on every small thing, getting triggered on every small thing. And anxiety starts even impacting the body. See, all the palpitations, or we feel a high BP also is a sign of anxiety. Yeah, so all that starts to happen.
And digestive system.
Absolutely, yeah. The first
directly
sign
gets-
that we see of anxiety or depression is that there are headaches, there is migraine, right? We feel that sometimes somebody starts to rationalize that it runs in my family. No.
that happens.
Yes, but it is happening because of something. Why has it got triggered? Even if, let's say, you're more prone to a headache, but it has got triggered because of something, yeah? Or even the digestive system. We feel that, maybe I would have had something wrong or whatever. Or yeah, these days everybody is having digestion challenges. But no, right? It is the digestion, or our stomach is absolutely connected to the stress. Yeah, so we need to catch, first of all, the early signs that it is really piling up and it has started impacting, or our body has started giving us signs, which we actually call psychosomatic signs that we get of disturbed mental health or stress. Yeah, so this is what final is the cause that we are there is anxiety that crops up, or people start going in shell if they've not resolved their challenges.
So which means you say that there are two types of personalities, which is coming out of unresolved stress. One is that a person goes into a shell, and the other is to the other extreme. They end up being hypersensitive or anxious,
Reactive.
Yes, all right. So now we talk about, so we've called this segment as the invisible wall, which is stigma, right?
Okay.
Which is there right in front of us, but we don't see it. It's in almost all the families. So Dr. Aastha, vulnerability is often seen as a weakness or as a failure in families or in workplaces or in friendships or relationships. How can we rewrite this narrative so that vulnerability or sharing or talking about your emotion is not taken or perceived as a weak person, or shows that you are moving towards failure? So how can we change that narrative?
It's very simple. If the way we accepted emotions, that we say that everybody should have emotions, or if we are humans, we obviously will have emotions, and if we have emotions, we have to be vulnerable sometime. Yeah, so the vulnerability comes from emotions only. If there's somebody who's completely emotionless, then the person would not be vulnerable. So if we have accepted, or we want a person to be emotional, then how can we not accept vulnerability? Yes, right? So that is a very simple way. So if we have accepted that we are not machines, we are human beings, obviously human beings, we would have emotions, and we would be vulnerable about something or the other, right? Not every personality is vulnerable about everything. A small example, that some personalities are very vulnerable to be alone, to be lonely, right? Some personalities are vulnerable about trust factors. So everybody has different areas where they might be vulnerable. That's about it. Yeah.
So vulnerable, when I say, Dr. Asta, I meant, people sharing, people talking about it. As you said that today in this time, in this era, mental health has been accepted, and people are more and more, the newer generation,
Absolutely.
the younger generation, they have started talking about it and have accepted how mental health is all about.
Sure.
But we still see that being vulnerable, or talking about is a quality of a weak person, and not a quality of a successful person. So in that manner, if you
Context.
can, yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah. So yes, I do agree that parents, for example, they have to have a higher acceptance towards the vulnerability, because see, it's unfortunate that when we have very high expectations from our children, right, or we want children to be perfect. Now if that one acceptance comes in, that it is about shaping the child, right? It is not that you would have a child or any human being who comes with a perfection and no vulnerabilities. It's about shaping, right? So as long as every human being knows that what are my vulnerability areas, what are my trigger areas, right, and how do I work on that, that is what is needed. So if parents or anybody, families, in relationships as well, among spouses, we always, I see that two people who come together are opposite personalities. So if we just understand that what is the emotional vulnerability of one person, and how do I help that person in that, because I am stronger in the other area, yeah, it would always help. Yeah. So I feel acceptance is the most important thing to bring in ourselves, to be able to and not striving for perfection in human beings. Yeah. Yeah.
So some of the strongest stigma we see, it comes from within, within ourselves only. So how do we overcome that internal resistance, where it stops us from seeking help, or that inner voice which says that I don't need help, I shouldn't be asking for help, or I shouldn't ask for help. So how do we overcome that?
Actually, it's very interesting and very I would say, when I study and I study families and people, it's very interesting. We're ready to seek help for other things in life. Yeah, if there is a physical challenge, see, our society is built on relationships, right? And why these relationships are important, because we knew that we would need help. Sometimes if, let's say, I fall sick, I would need help from my parents or my spouse. So that is why our Indian society values, yes, values relationships so much, because they know that if a person is lonely and is not seeking help, it would be very difficult, and help is needed. Now we're ready to accept help, and help is seen as a positive sign or thing in every other area, but not in the area of mental health. Yeah. So first of all, somewhere this narrative or this mindset shift has to come in the society, that when we were talking about seeking help, it could be any area, right? And especially, I think mental health definitely seeks, we need more help here, because what I believe is that mind is the most complex organ of our body. Yeah. And mind is also the most exposed, because we are meeting people, we are taking,
socializing,
yes, we are hearing different thoughts.
Yes.
It works the fastest. The mind is the one that is actually not at rest even in night, right, even while we are sleeping. So it is that is where we need the help the most, I think. Yeah. So just that narrative, that thought has to change, that if our society believes in relationships is because so that we can help each other. So let's be open to seeking help also, and helping others as well in the area of mental health. Yeah.
I just had a thought, Dr. Asta. So we talked about one aspect of it, that seeking help, right? When one feels down or needs an ear to hear. So I would also want to talk about the other part, where we as families, we as partners, siblings, whatever, we kind of give a hand to one who actually needs help. We also identify that this person needs help, because we see a lot of cases that of taking lives on their own, and ending lives, suicides and all, where we see those people spending an absolutely happy life as they project, at least as how they project, right? But one fine day they wake up and they end their life. So how, as a society, as a family, how are we failing? Where did we go wrong? Why didn't we identify that this person was
needing help?
Wanted help? Or why did we fail, or how did we fail?
There is only one word I like to give to this, and that's denial. So firstly, the first instinct that a person gets when they feel that something is wrong is denial, that no, everything is fine with me, there's nothing wrong, right? Oh, I'm just feeling like this because this has happened. We are rationalizing the stress also, the emotional turmoil also. So that is first internally happening, that we are in denial. But if, let's say, it is as a self, we realize that we need help, or we want help, then the family also sometimes is in denial, right?
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
Absolutely. So there is a self-denial issue as well, but the bigger issue is the denial from the family side. So if the family is in denial that no, there's nothing wrong, and everything's fine, and this is a tendency that we see in Indian societies, that trying to rationalize and just covering things up under the carpet, but
ye to hota hi
absolutely
hai, this happens.
Absolutely. But there are clear signs of it. For example, as I shared with you, if we are seeing a person going in the shell, not wanting to socialize, the sleep has got impacted, the hunger, everything is getting impacted, or there are symptoms of anxiety that we can see. So these are signs. And these signs are clearly visible signs. They're not something that's happening inside the body and we can't see it. So these are clear signs, and if these signs are there, of course, the help that is to be done from family side is acceptance. But after that, definitely a professional help should be taken, because sometimes the situations are such that it cannot be handled by the family as well. So from family, what I think I'm only expecting, or I only suggest, that they should not be in denial, look at these signs and accept that it's okay, and then help the person in professional help. That's what can help.
So now we have slowly and subtly moved to our next segment, where your expertise comes in, Dr. Aastha. We talk about therapy now.
Okay.
Which is often misunderstood as something which is needed when a person is completely broken. This is where I want to ask, when should a person go and seek for a professional help?
To answer this question, I want to take a learning from the West here. So whenever there is a change that is happening, or an event that has changed your life, an event that has impacted emotions and life in some manner. For example, if there is a job change that is happening, and that is where settling is becoming difficult, or if there is a relationship that has finished, and then you are trying to move on, all these are triggers that need therapy. And why I'm saying that these triggers, because see, if we would not take therapy at the right time, that also becomes a big issue. Lots of times people come to us when they are completely shattered, or they are at the brink of a breakdown. The anxiety is very high, and then it becomes even more difficult for the therapist to bring things back to normalcy. Yeah. So I feel that we need to learn this, that when we see triggers, and there is maybe a week or a 2 week of sleepless nights, that means these are the signs to go for therapy and take help early. I would absolutely, as in physical health also we do that let's not elongate the problem, and try and take help early. Yeah, that is one that I would say. But yes, whenever we are feeling that I am not my own self, right, I am being more reactive, I am being unhappy, I am not liking anything, I'm not being able to be in the present situation, my focus is somewhere else, I am somewhere else. All of these are signs that there is something that is going wrong. And first, the person should introspect, right, that what is wrong, and then of course seek help. Yeah. So introspection, reflection, these are the things we are not able to do because our life is just running all the time. Yeah. And that's when we are not able to really recognize the right time that we need therapy. Yeah.
So here, which now we talk about a very important factor, the relationship between a psychologist and a person who is seeking a professional help.
Yeah.
It becomes, the relationship becomes like a powerful mirror. It's so dynamic.
Absolutely.
Right. So why do you think it is so central to healing? How important is the relationship between a psychologist and a person who is seeking help?
So definitely there has to be a connect. They should feel connected. The person who's coming to a therapist should feel that the therapist is not judgmental, should feel comfortable, should feel that I can connect, I can relate to the person, I can share, right? I am not being judged, and I am given that come
space.
safe, and
Yes.
that
Safe
safe space, right? Now for this, it is difficult for a therapist, right, because they have to be professional as well, they have to balance as well between not becoming friendly, not becoming a friend but still being friendly. So this is what is the concept that I go by, that I am approachable, I am friendly, I make the other person comfortable, but still there's a thin line in being friendly and becoming a friend, right? So that's the philosophy that I go back
That's
by.
how dynamic
Yes,
it is. Yeah. So now we move to our next and last segment, Dr. Aastha, where we talk about micro hospitals, which is redesigning the whole healing experience, right? So One Health Conversations often looks at a topic or a theme from a bird view, from systems of care, not at individual experiences, right? So let's explore how the environment plays a very crucial role in the whole healing experience. And which is why my next question to you is that many people, they avoid going to large hospitals, larger setups, because they feel overwhelmed, they feel intimidated, and which eventually results in delay in seeking for help, right? Even when they know that they need it the most, the people who is going to seek help. How does that hesitation delay in the process, the whole process, and how does that intimidating factor or the overwhelming factor plays a crucial role?
Absolutely, because if there is a delay because of anything, because see, the person who is going through a mental health crisis is definitely not wanting to meet too many people, right? Not wanting to tell that, oh, this is what I'm going through. So maybe in a big hospital, in a big setup where they have to go through many layers of people, or there are too many people that they witness, right? that might overwhelm them. They're already going through something, they're already not wanting to talk about it. With a lot of courage, actually, a person comes to seek help in the area of mental health. Yeah, so there has to be a lot more care, a lot more empathy that is required, a smoother process or a shorter process. That always helps, right? And a very personalized attention. Yeah, so maybe a mini setup, yeah, or a clinic setup always helps them in not going through that long process, or actually reaching the therapist early, so to say. And that personalized care always gives them the comfort that they can open up. It's okay, yeah, that kind of a thing. But the real role that gets played is by the therapist, that how a therapist deals and deals with the person. Yeah.
So we end with this question. It's more of a statement. So do you really think that a setup like a micro hospital, where there is lesser crowd, clear communication, lesser ways to navigate, there'll be lesser confusion for a patient who is seeking out for mental health support, and creates a comfort space for a person who is seeking out help?
Yes, I agree, and I can tell you why I feel so. Yeah, so it is something that is like a one-stop solution, or a middle path, because I feel that sometimes when it is a individual therapy clinic, now sometimes when a person comes for therapy and is going through these challenges, there are some other helps that are needed, right? For example, if there's some physical issue that has already started cropping
that
up,
needs to be examined as
that
well.
needs to be examined as well. If there is any other area that the mental health expert feels that he or she should consider, so there's at one place everything is available, and it is not as overwhelming as a big hospital as well. So I feel that this is like really a one-stop solution, which is taking care of the disadvantages that are there with a big hospital as well, and the disadvantages that are there with a solo clinic setup as well, or a solo therapist setup as well, right? And also I feel that sometimes, and this is what has been my experience in this case, that sometimes for example, let's say there is a person who's going through extreme stress, and they've not come for that solution, but they are seeing physical challenges. For example, even skin allergies or alopecia. Right now they are coming to the skin person, doctor or dermatologist, but the reason of that is actually stress.
The trigger is the stress.
Yes. The trigger is stress. Or if there's somebody who's visiting a physician with migraine challenges and all that, but why is it happening is stress. So this is how the connection is there, and this is how in a clinic this solution can be a complete solution that we can provide.
Balance between, as we said, it's a
Absolutely.
right balance between a larger setup and a smaller
And
clinic
yes,
setup.
yes,
So thank you so much, Dr. Aastha, for your insights, which made us think very differently about emotional health and mental health. Something which is not distant, something which is which should be practiced in everyday life, and it's not a taboo anymore. We know that.
Absolutely.
And it's the right time that we talked about it. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And to our listeners, let's remember that emotional well-being doesn't begin in clinics. It begins in the quiet moments when we choose to understand ourselves a little better. Because ultimately, better health begins with better conversations. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to continuing these meaningful dialogues with you on OneHealth Conversations. Till then, this is your host signing off. Stay healthy, stay informed.